What makes me nervous about being a real estate agent is about the sales part. You gotta convince people. How do you do this?
Convince people to do what?
Like sell the house for them or just like buy the house from you?
That's a multi-part question and I'm gonna play with all of it. So the first thing is, did you ever see the movie with Annette Bening? It was what the hell was it called? It was the one where she was a real estate agent. There's that scene where Annette Bening stands, she's gonna do the open house, and she walks in and she says, I'm gonna sell this house today, I'm gonna sell this house today, I'm gonna sell this house today.
I will sell this house today.
I will sell this house today. I will sell this house today.
And when I saw it, I think it was before I was in real estate that I saw this, and I didn't really understand the meaning of that scene. And for some reason though, it's stuck in my mind. My future self knew I was gonna be a real estate agent, I guess. And I see how ridiculous that is. And here's why. Because there's this misconception out there that we sell houses. We don't sell houses. The houses literally sell themselves. So first of all, some real estate agents, and it's sad because those people are really missing out on what the real beauty of this career is. Because the real beauty about this career is the connection we make with people, helping people, and then there's that moment where someone walks into a property and you see it switch in their eye that is their house. Now your job is to help them figure out how they can get it, help them with their financing, help them with their contracts, negotiating, and all of those things. But your job is not now, ever, or will ever be to convince someone to buy a house. And if that's what you're trying to do, stop. You cannot convince someone to buy a house, and if you do, it's going to be coercion, and they're going to end up getting buyer's remorse, and they're going to hate you, and they'll never use you again. You cannot force someone. It's like forcing someone to marry you. You can do it maybe, but is it going to work out in the long run? Probably not. So you can't force someone or talk them into buying a house. We don't sell houses. What we do is we build relationships. And we help people. Let's talk about what is sales. Because the way I look at sales is I say sales is service, sales is problem solving. My job as a broker is to give my agents all the tools they need, and they put them in their little tool belt. And then when one of their clients has a problem, they can take out whatever tools they have and find a solution. So when you're with a client, if you approach this client and say, I have to sell them this house, you're making that all about you and not about the client. Because how do you know what to sell them unless you do something first, like ask them a question? What do you need? How can I help you? What do you want? What is the problem? The problem could be, I have 17 children in a 2-bedroom house and I need more space. The problem could be, my place is too dark and I don't have enough light. The problem could be, I want to downsize, I want to upsize. We don't know what the problem is unless we ask. So how can we sell something to someone unless we know how to help them? We're not selling, we're problem solving. I was working with a client, a buyer of mine, and this buyer was walking into a property and she knew exactly what she needed, and so did I. I know exactly what type of space she needed, and she was planning on renovating and gutting this whole place to make it wheelchair accessible. So this property came on the market that was in the right neighborhood, the right price point, right square footage, all the right things, but we needed to go in and see it to see if it would work for her. And the market was really hot. It was a very strong seller's market, meaning there's not a lot of inventory. So the day the property came on the market, the listing agent basically held a 6-hour open house. She stayed there and all the showings were during that day, and the property went under contract that night. So when I brought my client to the property, the listing agent was there, which is fine. It happens from time to time. I'm not a fan of it. I prefer to show the property myself, but that's just me. The listing agent was there, and when we walked in the door, she was nice and she was polite and she introduced herself and she said hello. And then she proceeded to take us on a tour, room by room, and point out obvious things like, this is the kitchen. here are the granite countertops. Here are the things that were so obvious that they were insulting and frankly a waste of time. Furthermore, she didn't even ask one question about what my buyer was looking for. Now, it's not her job really because she's the listing agent, but if you follow me on this, you're gonna see how ridiculous it is, and hopefully if you're doing this, you'll see it and you'll stop. We were walking through trying to figure out how many steps between levels and how much it would cost to keep the floors level so a wheelchair could get through. The listing agent was walking around and telling us about the heated floors. Do you think someone in a wheelchair cares about heated floors? I don't. But the listing agent didn't even know that because she didn't even stop to ask. And she was doing what she thought was her job, which was to sell the house. But she missed the vital piece. She missed finding out what the buyer needed. And until she found out what the buyer needed, she was talking on deaf ears. We didn't care, and I just wanted her to go away so we could walk through the property and see if it would work for my buyer. How many times do you show a property and you're so nervous about selling the house and pointing out all the great features of the house that you talk, and don't even slow down to ask the buyer what they want? Ask them what they want because you don't know. And here's the really cool thing about asking them what they want. Because asking them what they want is really important. It's an important piece in being able to see if that house is the right fit for them. But let's assume the house is not the right fit for them. I still want you to ask them what they want. Why? Because that's the fun part of this job, is getting to know people and hearing their stories. You know everything inside your head already. You know everything about yourself. You know everything you did today, everything you're gonna do tomorrow, what you like, what you don't like. And if you're like me, you hear that stuff running through your head all day, every day. It's like an endless loop that never shuts down. But what about this new person that just walked into your life? This new soul, this being that you never met before. They have an entirely different perspective on the world, a different experience, new things to add, and you're missing out on all of it because you're running your mouth about the heated floors, and maybe they don't care. So if you stop and you ask questions, and instead of thinking as selling as buy this pen, that's another one of my movie examples. Well, it is Wolf of Wall Street. So in that scene in Wolf of Wall Street, when they're like, sell me this pen, and the people are like, this is the greatest pen in the whole entire world because it's this. Well, what if you want the pen because you have to pick your nose or pick your ass or pick your ear? Or what if you need it because you have to untangle a knot and you need something with a really fine point so that you can, well, how the fuck am I gonna sell you a pen if I don't know what you need it for? Now we're looking at a house and we just walk around thinking that somebody wants this house because of the heated floors and the granite countertops. How do we know? How do we know? And if we're so focused on the house and we think that what we're doing is selling real estate, and that we think our job is to sell this house, we're missing the entire point, and there's no reason why that buyer will walk in and connect with us. And then we feel pressure, and then we feel like a failure because we didn't sell this house, and we're trying so freaking hard to sell the house that we miss the whole point, which is the connection. That's it. There is no pressure about selling it. There is only about connecting with other humans. Now, you do have to know your product. You have to know your product so that when your buyer asks questions about it, you can answer those questions. But it is not your job to just dump information on this person. That's what the listing is for. You can dump all the information in the listing. And then you can even, in a property that you're showing one of your listings, or if you're having an open house, a really great thing to do is take those little feature cards. You can get them printed out, or if you have nice handwriting, you can even write them out, little cards, and you can either tape them or sit them and say, oh, these are heated floors, and sit it somewhere. Or this is secret cabinet, and tape it on the door. Push here for secret cabinet, like they do at IKEA. You can do those things because then people on their own can push the button or look at the heated floor. But if you start talking in their ear and don't give them space, because you have this fear that you have to sell to them, you're gonna miss the point and you're gonna get stressed out. Subscribe to my channel. Hit the thumbs up button. Please like this video.